Don't platform people that platform fascists because they're fascists. Adam something? Adam something's one of these guys. Oh my God, I'm wearing the Gravel Institute t-shirt right now. When Gravel Institute... Can we find the video? I've actually been desperate to find this Gravel Institute video. Oh, someone else posted it. I'm watching it. I haven't watched it in a while. This is one of those things. I'll be honest. As I've been very transparent about my entire political journey. Okay? And I've been doing this for 3 years. We missed the fucking anniversary. We didn't celebrate the 3-year anniversary. We'll have to do this in the next week or so. But I've been streaming here for 3 years. For the first year, half a year, for the first about 6-9 months or so, I was doing variety stuff. I would play video games, and I would also do this karaoke thing. It was called Twitch Sings. Oh, it was so cool. Anyways, I would do that. And then they said Twitch Sings was going away. And then I was like, well, I'll just sort of do the thing that I've sort of always wanted to do. And I see other people who sort of do it here. And I was like, I sort of looked at Hassan as sort of like a model. Not to say that I, am on his level in any way or whatever. But I was like, okay, I could do something like that, And I'm like, cool. I started streaming and talking about politics every day, and I was still sort of lived out. But I was moving, I was moving left, and I had a great community. And all the dark videos, remember those? I just had fewer lights, Anyways, so what am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to say is when the Russian tanks rolled in, February something 24th, 25th, 26th, 2022. I'm one of those people that I can confidently say I couldn't pick out Ukraine on a map. Okay? Remember, I was libbed out. I was very domestically focused. I was one of those libs where my socialism ended at the border, I've had to grow up. I've learned a lot since then. I can point out Ukraine on a map. I can point many countries on a map. I literally had like a geography kick, I'm still getting better at it. You know what I think is going to help? I think Victoria 3 is going to help that. Anyways, what am I getting at? This video was pretty damn informative for me. But of course, they're going to say, oh, well, this isn't the Western narrative. Therefore, it's what? There it is again. Putin propaganda. You're doing, you work for Moscow. You're a Vatnik or whatever they say. New follower. Welcome in. Okay, so this video was one of the things that helped me understand that there are Nazis in Ukraine. Not everyone's a Nazi. And it helped me sort of wrap my head around some certain things. And then I would go on to spend hours and hours and hours and hours, countless hours, continuing to learn and talk about this topic. I did the work. I really did the work on this topic. But I was not an understander before. This was one of the videos that came out and was pretty incredible. I think pretty well done. And it caught a lot of flack from people who said they're on the left. Some of these people, Adam something included, made a big fucking stink about it, and the Gravel Institute took the video down. I think it went back up and then it came back down. I'm not sure, but it's down and it's been down for over a year. And then it would come out later that Adam's something, we like to call them Azov something, because he's literally minimizing the problem of Nazis in Ukraine. I don't want to oversell the problem of Nazis in Ukraine, but I also don't want to do the thing that Nazi apologists do, which is minimize the problem of Nazis. They don't want you to think they're a problem. But they're a problem. And if they're not an existential threat to you, if they're not an immediate threat to you, what the fuck are you doing? You're simply not trying hard enough. Okay, so Adam something would make a big stink about it. The video would come down. Later on, he's interviewing a guy from NAFO. Come the fuck on here. So I'm still disappointed in Gravel Institute, and I got the shirt on today, that they took it down. Because I don't know what was wrong with it, and they never explained. They never said anything about it. I'd like to watch it again and see if anything rings incorrect. And whether or not, like, Adam something is redeemed, or whether or not I am, and even Gravel Institute doing it to a degree. But they posted this, and I think they had just a few more videos maybe in the pipeline, and they released those. The last video they had that they released is Marianne Williamson, and then they stopped producing videos. What happened? Azov something wrote, subscribe to Adam something on one of those bombs? God! Hassan destroyed Adam over this video? I don't remember that one. Amy. I don't remember that. Good for him. All right, I want to see the video.
Ukraine.
Someone maybe pulled their funding.
Ukraine.
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 Ukraine. You've probably heard about that.
Ravel, I guess.
For the last
Who is giving them money? How are they funded? Because I think that's got to be what happened.
few years, Ukraine has been one of the most important conflict points in the world. It's the site of a proxy war between Russia and the United States.
Russia could launch an attack on Ukraine.
Already. There it is. Already the video is correct, but it's going to piss a ton of people off. If you call it a proxy war in Ukraine, that makes people go, oh, well, how's the United States involved? And they don't want you to think the United States is involved. But it's deeply involved. They want to blame the whole thing on Putin. That's the thing. If any of this destruction and violence and death and suffering, if any of that can be blamed on the West, then other countries start to go, well, do we want that to happen in our country? No. Should we be partnering with these people? No. So the whole thing is, this is part of the giant PSYOP. Yes, they do PSYOPs all the fucking time. Psychological operation to make this whole war Putin's war. And that's why you hear that over and over and over in mainstream media. Putin's war, Putin's war, Putin's war. Come on. WMDs, 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 right? Come on. I'm not a baby anymore. I'm not a baby anymore. I can handle the truth.
We are ready, and all of NATO is ready.
But it's also a place most people don't really know a lot about. So
Who's she? We should find her.
the story we hear about Ukraine's history and its conflict today has very little relationship to reality. I'm going to tell you a story
We should like find out who she is and if she's cool, you know?
about modern Ukraine. But
Seems
this
cool.
is also a story about America and how American money and weapons ended up in the hands of these guys.
First time I'm watching this video, I don't know any of these flags.
American
Now I'm an understander of these flags, you know?
money and weapons
You should be too.
ended up in the hands of these guys, the neo-Nazis and ultranationalists of Ukraine's far right. Let's start in 1991, when Ukraine became fully independent from the Soviet Union. And independence was tough. After the fall of communism, the economies of post-Soviet republics were
A fall of communism. It was a brutal dismantling and installation of neoliberalism. Devastated working class people
falling apart.
all over the world,
State
specifically
institutions were
in
being
Russia.
hollowed out. A so-called gangster capitalism was becoming dominant. So in the 1990s, Ukraine's economy and quality of life collapsed, and it's never really gotten better. Adjusted for inflation, Ukraine's GDP per capita was higher in 1990 than it was in 2020. Health outcomes are abysmal. In 2019, the life expectancy of Ukrainian men was lower than in Syria, Iraq, and North Korea. And as quality of life collapsed, nationalism flourished. Some people turned to extremist politics. And that was partly because Ukrainian nationalism, formed in opposition to the Soviet Union, tended to have a strongly right-wing flavor.
All right, and this leaves out some things, which is, going all the way back to World War II. Ukrainians were fighting in the war. Most Ukrainians were fighting for the Reds, for the Soviet Union. Some Ukrainians fought for the Nazis. Literal Nazis. Under Hitler Nazis, those Nazis, Nazis.
To understand that, we have to look at a crucial figure in Ukrainian nationalist history.
That guy.
A guy named Stepan Bandera.
That's such a generous photo of him.
You see, in the 1930s and 40s, Bandera wanted Ukrainian independence from Poland and the Soviet Union. So when the Nazis invaded, Bandera allied with them. His followers massacred huge numbers of Poles and Jews.
That's true.
But in spite of this legacy, Bandera is still viewed as a hero in the west of Ukraine. There are Stepan Bandera streets, museums, and monuments.
All true.
In 2010, Bandera was even named an official hero of Ukraine.
They took it away, but yeah.
But Bandera is hated in the East, where Soviet identity was historically a lot stronger. And that East-West divide...
So this war isn't because they're Russian people here in Donbass in the East. It's because they're not the right kind of Ukrainian people.
...was a big fracture within Ukraine. In Western Ukraine, there was more stress on a specifically Ukrainian identity, closer to Europe. In Eastern Ukraine, meanwhile, people were more likely to stress their historic ties to Russia and the Russian language. Fast forward to 2010, when Ukraine elected a
definitely some fast forwarding there.
Relatively pro-Russian politician named Viktor Yanukovych as its president, with strong support from voters in the East. Yanukovych pursued a regionalist and Russia-friendly agenda, which angered people in the West.
They did skip through some things, but this is really, more relevant to the current conflict than the stuff they skipped.
And in 2013, Yanukovych announced that he was suspending discussions on Ukrainian integration.
I think this, if I wonder what link you got here. A progressive group's Ukraine meltdown, deleted tweets. I'll have to check this out. My guess is that the same thing happened that we saw here on Twitch, in Twitch politics circles, where people who say they oppose imperialism but really don't because they can't really identify the true imperial actor in this war who's most responsible for this war. If they truly opposed imperialism, they'd identify the West as the imperialist power that's the one fucking around and that's making Ukrainians find out. Not that anyone over on this channel is like supporting the Russian special military operation in Ukraine, the invasion. No. But at the same time, we can identify who was poking the bear the most. And what happens is people who call themselves socialist, not that Russia's socialist, I get that. People who say they oppose imperialism, people who say they're opposed to colonialism and neo-colonialism even, they did the same thing that happened with the Second International and moving forward, which is the issue of imperialism itself, is what split the supposed left. And you got people who end up supporting the West's neoliberal project for Ukraine. They do this mental backflip where they go, oh, the poor Ukrainians. And yes, the poor Ukrainians, what brought them into this mess? If you have a flawed understanding of that, you're not going to have any fucking clue of how to get them out of it. These babies with their baby talk, screaming from the kids' table. Sick of them. Fucking sick of them, man. Gets me worked up. All right. Which one's the good guy? Yeah, right? Well, which side do I support here? Yeah. The good guy are the fucking citizens. Those are the people. Those are the good people. They're the people that have our sympathy right now. Right? I'm not for the government of Ukraine. I'm not for the government of Russia. I'm not for the government of the United States. I'm definitely not for the government of the United States. But this is the U.S. NATO proxy war in Ukraine. They say the quiet part loud all the time. It's about weakening Russia. And you have to understand globally what's going on here. And that's what it's about. It's about the West's war on Russia. But what did they call this? Putin's war in Ukraine. They zoom in. And they want you to do that. They want you to stay zoomed in on their narrative. Okay, well, what's going on in the whole world? It's a proxy war. It's not just Ukraine versus Russia. It's a proxy war. Zoom out. And that's what this video does. It sort of gets you to zoom out a bit.
Europe. That decision sparked a protest movement centered in Kyiv called Euromaidan, after the Maidan Square where it took place.
In Kyiv,
This leaves a lot out that I've learned about the Maidan. Matthew, welcome in.
Ukrainians continue to protest against the government's decision to hold off on signing a deal with the EU.
In the West, Euromaidan was seen as a peaceful, pro-democracy movement, and most participants really were ordinary people who were angry at the government. But as the protests grew, encouraged by a harsh repression from the police and a brutal sniper attack that killed dozens of protesters and police alike, a new, more sinister element
They try to blame on the police, but it was actually protesters, opposition protesters, that were egged on by the West, that were being told that you will get a Western coup if the violence reaches a certain point. They were encouraged to start murdering their own people.
emerged and began to hijack the movement. The ultranationalists came on the scene.
It was often the nationalists who were the loudest and the most violent.
Show us the tattoos, show us the patches.
Sector is perhaps the largest. Its members can be seen marching around
Red and black.
in columns of about a dozen.
Groups like the quote, right sector, the ultranationalist
See, right sector.
Svoboda Party.
It's not just the Azov guys. It's right sector. It's like so many other, Ukrainian Nazis that didn't join right sector or the Azov or whatever, but they're just mixed into the Ukrainian military.
originally called
Yeah, I saw that on a shield.
Party of Ukraine. Try turning those words around.
Second Panzer Division.
It is a small but influential organized minority with
Whoa! They even got like the shield. They've got like the shield part of the icon. Hold on, am I tripping? Let me see if I'm tripping here. Okay, so it's a little different. It is a little different. But that is like throwing me off a little bit though, right?
turning those words around, acted as a small but influential organized minority within the protests.
Like a crest.
Those extremists played an important role in exacerbating the protests by encouraging violence and more radical rhetoric. There are allegations that the sniper attack was actually orchestrated by the right sector and its co-conspirators. By early 2014,
Yep.
the government lost the ability to control the protests.
In a rapidly evolving political crisis, President Yanukovych has been voted out by parliament, forced to leave Kiev.
He didn't get the votes though.
And the US recognized interim government that replaced him had a significant far-right faction.
You know that?
The deputy prime minister, the minister of defense, and others were all from that far-right party, Svoboda. And this led to backlash in the east, because Eastern
Svoboda is the political arm of the, whereas the right sector is their paramilitary arm, right?
Ukrainians were horrified
Red and black
they
flag.
saw as a far-right seizure of power, with veneration of Bandera and elimination of equal recognition for languages like Russian.
Service industry workers have since January been obliged to talk to customers in Ukrainian unless clients specifically ask to switch.
If I work, pay my employees' salaries and my taxes, it's none of your bloody business which language I do it in.
Anti-government protests broke out across the east. In the eastern peninsula of Crimea, people were furious. Many of them talked about joining Russia, so the Russian government saw an opportunity. They wanted to encourage a surge of Russian nationalism for its own benefit. So Russia annexed Crimea and held a disputed referendum to legitimize the decision.
As many as 95.5% of the electorate in Crimea have voted to join Russia. We are going back home.
Nearly bloodless.
Crimea is in Russia.
Energized by the annexation and supported by Russian armed and military personnel, the anti-government protests became a full-blown secessionist movement. Eastern provinces like Donetsk and Luhansk held separatist referendums and declared independence. The new government branded these rebellions as, quote, terrorist actions. Ukraine entered a civil war, which was also a proxy war with Russia. But after decades of austerity and corruption, the Ukrainian army was totally unable to fight. So a lot of the action fell instead to the people who were the most violent, the ultranationalists. So a new paramilitary emerged. It was called the Azov Battalion. And unlike the official Ukrainian military, Azov's volunteers were willing to go the distance. But Azov wasn't just any random organization. It was a pretty disturbing far-right group. It had come out of neo-Nazi street gangs that had been used as muscle by Ukrainian elites in the 90s and 2000s. Azov members regularly sported tattoos of swastikas. Their symbol was based on a Nazi emblem. Their leader declared that their mission was to, quote, lead the white...
They actually picked the wrong one in that video. That's... They just picked the wrong Nazi one. Hold up. That's a different division, am I wrong? The one that, yeah, the one they used was the second, but the one that is sort of shown was more like the fourth? Either way, these two are, I think they're literally based off the same rune. I think that's accurate as well. They showed one that was slightly different.
The emblem.
Yeah. We think, yeah, okay.
Their leader declared that their mission was to, quote, lead the white races of the world
16, yeah.
crusade against the Semite-led Untermenschen, subhumans. But as neo-Nazism turned out not to be a huge concern to the Ukrainian government. Because in 2014, a guy named Arsen Avakov became interior minister in charge of police and security.
Here we go.
And Avakov had been a longtime patron of the neo-Nazi gangs. And when he was a regional governor, he used them as enforcers. So when he became interior minister, Avakov had the Azov Battalion incorporate.
You know what sucks? We talked about this. On Twitter, you can have that Nazi rune like on your Twitter name. This guy? Jesus Christ. Come on. How can you have this? How can you have, like, come on. That's a Nazi. That's a, well, come on. It's a literal Nazi. What the fuck's wrong with these people? Abuse of profile information. The whole thing. He's still a Nazi. It's a Rhodesian flag. I didn't even catch that. Come on. You're just trying to pile on the fucking dog whistles over here. What is with these people? Fucking Nazis, man. You can have that symbol in your name. Like, why? Fucking why?
Incorporated into Ukraine's National Guard. Ukraine is the
okay, so what was in his name? He had 88. Why is he allowed? Okay.
Country to have a neo-Nazi formation in its military.
Nazis, man.
So as the war was heating,
and they just like let them have their dog whistles. Can we not let Nazis have their dog whistles? Make them work harder. Why do they have so fucking many? So weird. They have so many.
the US government announced it would start helping the Ukrainian government.
We're upholding the principle that bigger nations can't bully the small by opposing Russian aggression and supporting Ukraine's democracy and reassuring.
We do it because it's right. Here's the thing, Dan. We're ensuring democracy. We're ensuring the best of neoliberal policies. We're going to make it, and we're going to do it and we do it because it's right.
By opposing Russia. And supporting Ukraine's democracy and reassuring our NATO allies.
Reassuring.
And money, training, and quote.
Here's the thing, Dan.
Aid, weapons. And as all that flowed in, Azov became a beneficiary. The research group Bellingcat showed
boo.
Azov was receiving access to American grenade launchers.
I forgot that part. Oh, that is so wild because like Bellingcat sort of started to do the Nazi apologia later as the war was breaking out. That's wild. That's interesting. Interesting development there. And now they're like pretty much they were working with the Department of Defense to catch the Pentagon leaker.
No collusion, no obstruction. He's a leaker.
A Beast investigation showed that U.S. trainers were unable to prevent aid from reaching neo-Nazis. And Azov itself posted a video of the unit welcoming representatives from NATO. Some in the
What about the NED?
Concerned about all of this. They warned that arming neo-Nazis would pose a threat to Ukrainian minorities and to Ukrainian democracy. But whenever Congress tried to ban funding for Azov, the Defense Department had those provisions removed. So the US continued funding Azov for years. It wasn't until 2018 that funding was banned and that the State Department labeled Azov a quote, nationalist hate group. Ukraine.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. We've been talking about this for an entire year. And the libs are like, whatever. Right? It is so fucked up out there.
Is still mired in a war on its territory, and the Russian government likes to use Ukraine.
No, you sound like you're talking like Putin. So I'm just going to shut my brain off. What? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Nationalists in its propaganda.
Exactly.
Part of its practice of painting all Ukrainians as Nazis. Of course, those aren't really true. But Ukraine
they cover everything here.
Still does have a serious and militarized neo-Nazi problem. And Western support.
Come on, Dan, they're just neo-pagans.
Extends beyond Azov. Even today, far-right groups continue to benefit from training by Western countries. American politicians have met with far-right leaders.
People of Ukraine, this is your moment.
Which people, bro? Which people?
American Senator John McCain made a public appearance with a leader of the far-right Svoboda Party.
He's the guy.
This guy.
No, Dan, he's just saying where he's telling you where the light should go. Right about there, please. A little bit lower. Nope, higher. No, it's Dan. It's Dan. He's using his left hand. He's not a Nazi.
Kicked out of Ukraine's parliament for extreme anti-Semitism. And here's that same guy meeting with then Vice President Joe Biden.
Oh, God. I forgot about this part. Oh, my God. God.
So since the 2014 uprising, Ukraine's far right has become increasingly powerful. Azov veterans have been given high positions in the security services.
Oops.
In 2016, Andriy Parubi, pictured here when he was leading a neo-Nazi party in the 90s, became Speaker of the Ukrainian Parliament, even as he continued to offer praise for Adolf Hitler. Here's Parubi meeting with John McCain.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
The new Ukrainian government even made it a criminal offense to deny Bandera's heroism.
No, I would be a criminal in Ukraine. They would have murdered me by now. They would have murdered me by now. I can't even say that. Didn't I just hear a new round of of like Ukrainian censorship. I think they banned like all Soviet symbols and like ham sticks and shit, you know? Come on, dude. And when this war broke out, again, that's an insensitive way to put it. When the special military operation began, when the Russian invasion began or whatever, we got browbeat like fucking crazy. Because that gaslight was lit, you know? Motherfuckers lit that gaslight. And once it's lit, it's like it's etched in their minds. You can't make them unthink it. It is so wild. And that's when the split happened. Or at the very least, that's not when it happened. That's when it was like revealed again. It was like made patently clear to people who were paying attention. I was like, what the fuck is going on, right? Wasn't that wild? It was this wild time of propaganda. And here we are. Like banning communist symbols. Oh, they've definitely disappeared, comrades. What the fuck, dude? They also banned all communist organizing in the country along with the Communist Party. They banned the use of Russian speech. Like their communist activists went missing like a year ago and were never seen again. I don't know if we've talked about that. What the fuck? Someone needs to be making content about that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think they were banning unionizing. Well, that would attract left-wing people, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ, who are we giving money to? By we, I mean owning and ruling classes. Who are we arming? These fucking sickos, dude. What is going on? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
And in 2021, the United States and Ukraine were the only two countries to vote against a UN resolution condemning the glorification of Nazism.
Let's pull that up next.
A climate of impunity has developed around far-right violence. Attacks against Roma and gay people go unpunished. A 2018 report found that Ukraine had more...
Just share this video with people. I'm putting it in the Discord. I'm like losing my mind. I'm happy we found this account.
Incidents of anti-Semitic hate crimes than all other post-Soviet republics combined. So that's the story of how the far-right helped cause the country to fracture.
Interesting. They banned communist symbols, but not Nazi ones. Huh. Funny. That. I'm losing my mind. Honestly, I feel like I'm losing my mind. We've been talking about this for a year. It's like everyone's got their fucking fingers in their ears. Or then they do this weird mental backflip. Oh, but Putin worse. What? You found someone worse than Nazis? They found someone worse than Nazis in their minds. Communists. They've already banned communist stuff, but they won't ban Nazi stuff. They can't. We've been talking about this. You can't become a U.S. citizen if you've identified as a communist in the last 10 years? What? I didn't know that. What in the fucking hell? No way. You were fucking kidding me. Can't hold office? Is that like an outright rule, or is that just because, you know, no one will vote for you? Which one? All right, we got to talk about that one too. What the fuck? Make a list. Someone make a list. I'm busy streaming over here. All right, so we got links I gotta click here. But we're almost to the end of the video. Okay.
But it's also a story about America, how America's support helped legitimize the far right and allowed it to build influence. And that's a pattern you see over and over in American foreign policy. Getting involved in places that we don't really
whitewashing fucking Nazis.
Groups, lesser evils, that we think serve our interests. And then being surprised when the blowback hits us in the face.
There were other unintended consequences, as we know.
East and Southeast Asia, and now in Ukraine.
Jesus Christ. Seymour Hersh said Ukraine was like one of the United States' biggest mistakes. Even more so than Iraq.
I'm Hadia Afzal, Advocacy Associate for Just Foreign Policy for the Gravel Institute.
What happened? Hadia Afzal. Hadia Afzal. What happened here? That was a banger! What the fuck happened? Just Foreign Policy. Previously Just Foreign Policy. Oh. What are you doing now? What the fuck? That was a good video. Your state bans atheists. Yep. I'm like this country's worst nightmare. If I were black, I'd be even more worse nightmare. You know what I mean? If I were like a black trans woman with all the shit that I got going on politically or whatever. Oh man. I would be the state's #1 enemy. Okay, here's the thing. I gotta learn about some of those things we were talking about. Like someone should be making content about this stuff. But at the end of the day, this country's so super fucking anti-communist. It's like, it's incredible I became a communist. It's almost by like pure luck or chance. You know, I just rolled the dice. And I just hit the most unlikely numbers. And I lucked out and I just slipped through the cracks and became a communist. They don't want you to understand power. They don't want us to have these conversations. This is how you make people communists, I guess. Worked for me, at least. And it's to be firmly anti-capitalist. To have an understanding of what capitalism is. To be firmly anti-capitalist is to be firmly anti-imperialist. To be firmly anti-imperialist in this economy, in this day and age, is to be firmly against empire. Neo-colonialism. Neo-imperialism. Or whatever. Or whatever. I don't know. And that means, you know, yeah, when you see one of empire's biggest projects in the world going down in real time, you should definitely oppose what empire's up to. Doesn't necessarily mean you fucking support the other side equally or materially even, but like, come on. I'm not going to be part of the West's psyops. I want to fight their psyops in real time. They be doing psyops. They've got objectives. They've got goals. That's why they spend so much time and energy doing it. We need to like be out there fucking pushing back. Diminishing their returns. Eliminating their returns. Making their shit blow back in their face. Catching them doing it live. It seems like there's a severe lack of people on the supposed left who want to catch empire doing it live. They don't want to like in real time call out empire's projects. I'm into that. Why don't we do that more? I'm into that. That's fun. That's fun for me. I get off on that. I get hard. Erect. Okay? My wiener. Shut up. Get off on it. It's fun for me. It's a good time. Me and my friends like to do that, okay? Okay? I like to do that. It's fucking... I don't want to be a fucking dork and fall for their fucking psyops in real time, you know? I don't want to fall for their psyops.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe there's weapons of mass destruction. Well, hold on. The Gulf of Tonkin, we've something to worry about here.
You know, all sorts of shit.
Well, I think Allende is a bit radical for me.
Like, you're gonna fall for them all?
I don't know. I think Gaddafi, he's just a little too weird. Well, in Venezuela, they eat rats.
Like, which psyop aren't you gonna fall for in real time? I hope to fall for none, you know? That's why I want to, like, do the work. You got to do the work and, like, dig in every day. Talk about the politics and the geopolitics. That's what we do. That's why I like this. I like to do this. It's stressful, but I like it. This is why any move left in this country is so alienating. Yeah, it just moves you farther and farther outside the Overton window. The, the window of a acceptable conversation. It's that ratchet effect for you. The Democrats prevent anything from moving left, whereas the Republicans take every opportunity to ratchet it to the right. So, the farther left you go, you're just like, you just keep marginalizing yourself. But, like, what am I going to do? I marginalize myself by just getting a better material and dialectical and historical analysis of the world? So be it. Marginalize myself away. I don't want to go back to the baby table. That's me. The baby table of understanding. Yeah. Right? They're going to fall for it, right? Just like they're doing right now in Ukraine. They're going to keep falling for it. Like what they're doing in Taiwan. You could see them manufacturing their consent. Sometimes they don't even need to do it. They just rely on people just not giving a fuck, like Syria. They don't give a shit what's happening in Yemen, Palestine. They just get away by, like, well, actually, there's a ton of money. Okay, never mind. The Israel thing, there's a ton of money going into that. Syria, though, they just rely on people's ignorance, and they don't just they just don't give a shit about sovereignty or whatever bullshit argument they use when they talk about Ukraine. What happened with this person? I wonder what the anti-communists think about China being the one to attempt to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine. They hate it. They never want to hand Xi a win.
Well, did you know they're doing a genocide?
No, they're not. Shut the fuck up. Did you know the United States owning and ruling classes is doing a genocide? Have you heard of class warfare, dumbass? Ding dong, right?
China. Oh, well, did you know that China's
bad? What do you mean? What is that, right? Welcome in boat parade. Boat parade. Remember the Trump boat parades? Those were fucking lit. Those were so funny. Did they have funny nicknames? God damn it. That was they were sinking. Big beautiful boaters. What a time. Bring back Trump. He was funny. If just for the yucks, bring back Trump. God, he was hilarious. I support wake capsizing trickle-down boatonomics. Pretty good. That's pretty good. What am I doing here? All right. I guess I'll follow. I think I followed them for a while and then I unfollowed. Why are you retweeting Mehdi Hassan? That's why. I'm unfollowing again. I'm out of here. I don't want more Mehdi Hassan on my fucking timeline. Nope. Nope. Oh. Look at this buddy head guy saying one of my favorite streamers. That's nice. Do you agree you should retweet this as well? We need to grow the community. Let's get some butts in seats here. Let's get some butts in seats. Oh, there were other things I wanted to get to. Let me get to those in 1 second, okay? Big, beautiful boaters. All right. Deleted tweets reveal a progressive group's Ukraine meltdown. All right, what happened? Gravel, supposed to be an antidote to right-wing propaganda, instead spread misleading claims aligned with Kremlin narrative, experts say. Okay. There it is. This is a false dialectic. False dialectic being, if you don't agree with Western narratives, you're doing the alleged opposite, right? Kremlin narratives. There's only two options here. Kremlin. Get the fuck out of here, William Brederman, with your fucking Mayo face. All right, what's the deal? I'm reading the Daily Beast, everybody. Just relax. Everyone relax. So who is paying for it? I need to answer that question. Question number one. I need to have like a little graphic. That'd be cool when I have a little question that comes up with a little graphic, a little check mark. Like it's a video game. That'd be fun if there was a little video game. I should gamify my stream somehow. And a little graphic comes up, and it's like something that we're trying to accomplish or achieve. Right? And I'm going to gamify my stream. Graphic 1. Imagine in your head. Boop. Boop. It's got a little check mark box, and it needs to be checked off. And and it says, who funded Gravel? That's the question. That's question number 1. Question number 2, what the fuck happened? Why do they break up? All right, we know what it is. Multiple denunciations of Putin's attack on his Western neighbor, along with statements of support for anti-invasion Russian demonstrators and Ukrainian citizens. All right, so they were doing some Western genuflecting. Is that a good way to put it? That's a good word, right? Great word. $5 word. Checks in the mail. We stand in solidarity with Ukrainians and with many Russians protesting the war, denounce Putin's act of naked,
classic Putin,
horrific, and unconscionable aggression, and hope diplomacy can end the violence soon. It's fine. I think that's a little bit of Western genuflecting, but it's fine. It's whatever. We stand with the Ukrainian and Russian peoples against the aggression and violence of the Putin regime. I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, the escalation of violence. But just as it was debuting its new leadership earlier in the month, new leadership. How does that happen? How do they get new leadership? Whoop! Question number 3, new leadership. What kind of leadership structure do they have? How does this organization work? They're pushing what experts call false or misleading material. What? Bring it. It's on now. Oh, it's on. Really? You think so? Prove it. I bet we agree with everything they say, right? I bet we agree with everything they say. The YouTube video, right, which following online criticism was renamed America, Russia, and Ukraine's far-right problem. It was? Okay, I didn't know that. The video reiterated several of the Kremlin's favorite narratives. Oh my God. Is it true or not? Namely, that Ukrainian nationalism is a Nazi-linked phenomenon. That is a straw man. That's not what they said. There is threads of Ukrainian nationalism that are Nazi-linked. It doesn't mean the whole thing is. And that has taken root in Kiev and the rest of the country, in opposition to its pro-Russian East. Okay. Jesus Christ, here we go, right? Yes. Yes. Western Ukraine, there was more stress on a specifically Ukrainian identity, closer to Europe. Okay. What is the problem? In fact, Ukrainian national identity predates the Soviet Union by hundreds of years, stretching back to Cossack leaders. Jesus H. Christ on a cracker. Wait. I think I just tripped out. I think my brain just tripped out. I literally read Cossacks, and my brain said kulaks. Can everyone just give me a freebie on that one? Forget I said that. Cossack leaders who ruled the region. My brain said kulaks. Sorry about that. Please forgive me. That would make more sense why I did that, right? They're right. Ukraine belongs to the Kazakhs. Yeah, I was confused. My brain said kulaks. Come on, Dan. All right. Okay. The video focused intensely on the supposed power of far-right parties, Svoboda and Right Sector. Both objects of obsession in Russian state media. We see their fucking flags everywhere. Western media posts their flags, and which respectively hold 1 and 0 seats in the Ukrainian parliament. Who cares? They're getting armed. You don't have to, take over the government if you already enjoy their support. A fact the Institute's documentary omitted. Oh my god, dude. We could play this fucking game all day. How many facts is this article omitting, right? I could do this all fucking day with this shit. This is lib shit, you guys. They fall for this every time, too. The KKK has 0 seats in Congress. All right, then let's not worry about them. You know what? Terrorists in the United States have 0 seats in Congress. Wait, actually, that's totally wrong. They've got all of the seats. They're all fucking terrorists. You know, mass shooters hold 0 seats in Congress. Okay. So the fuck what? It's so what? You know who holds seats in Ukrainian parliament? People who are arming Nazis. That's the thing. I feel like I'm drinking crazy juice, you know? I think this is the gaslight. This is it, right? This is what it looks like. While emphasizing the influence these parties held in the past and arguing the country's neo-Nazis had become increasingly powerful. That's what happens when you give them guns and rocket launchers. What? I'm losing my mind. The documentary made no mention of the fact he's Jewish. Okay. Yeah, he's Jewish and he's giving guns and rocket launchers to Nazis. And he's unable to disarm the Nazis. What fucking point do they think they're making here? This is the liberal reflexive talking point. But he's Jewish. Okay. That makes it even more fucked up. Don't you agree? Right? They go, he's Jewish, therefore it's not happening? No, it's actually happening. So shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Liberals. Please. Adults are talking here.
No. Don't trust the liberals. They will betray you.
He's working across the aisle, Daniel. I like how you call me Daniel. That is definitely how you would admonish me. Daniel. I'm sorry, Mom. In my room. Who cares? Oh my God. Ukraine was the only nation on earth besides Israel. You're not making the point you think you're making, idiot. Oh my God. There it is. Peak lib shit right there. Now they're doing Zionist propaganda. I can't read anymore. I'm losing my mind. Okay, hold on. Can we read about like what happened? I'm losing my mind over here. Putin propaganda. I hate these combination of words. I'm going to kill myself in a video game. Not funny to joke about. I'm sorry. I'm gonna commit Sudoku. Why is that funny though? It's like it toes the line. I think that's why it's funny. Yeah, Jews famously never align with Nazis on anything. Yeah. It's like, okay, do we want to do some World War II history, you guys? Come on. All right, the deployment of Russian soldiers into Ukrainian territory in the aftermath of pro-Kremlin president, their ouster. Russian soldiers. All right, what about the deployment of Ukrainian ones? Jesus Christ. You're playing Sudoku? I do like Sudoku. I do enjoy a Sudoku. All right, whatever. But what about the texts? And he since deleted tweets. Oh my God. All right. The video focuses heavily on the Azov battalion. 1,000 guys. That's a lot of Nazis, bro. That's a lot of Nazis. I listen to you rant and play Sudoku or Solitaire. That sounds nice. That sounds like a nice time. Does anyone else play games or have a little thing on the side that you do while you listen to me stream? That dude, welcome in. What about Wagner? What about Wagner? Yeah, there it is. What about Wagner? All right. Okay. We're playing a new game here. Okay. What about? Okay. What about what is it? Blackstone? They always got these stupid names. Black Hammer? That's a different thing. What about all the Western PMCs? Oh, new theory, by the way. If you hear a liberal talking about Wagner, but they don't talk about all of the Western PMCs, that's how you know they're a piece of shit. Blackwater. Blackwater. That's the one. Shit, we should talk about them then. We should be the ones, because they don't want to talk about it. So I guess we should be the ones to. Blackwater is now Academy. That's stupid. You should go back. They're Academy now. Totally reformed. Just like Azov getting integrated. Hey, they changed their logo. Andriy Beletsky, the Untermenschen guy, said he's no longer the leader. They've changed. They're better now, Dan. Imagine going on a date and someone was like, well, I used to be a Nazi, but I'm not anymore. Oh, okay. I have to go to the bathroom. Never see you again. Bye. Yeah, we got it. Well, here's the thing. I used to be a Nazi, but I changed the logo. Oh, okay. Your post in War in Ukraine shows an OG getting back in. What does that mean? Yeah. Sure. An OG getting back in. What do you mean? When did you post? I'm not seeing anything new. Oh. All right. What am I doing here? Okay. After the Nisour Square massacre came to public light, they had to rebrand. Why do I feel like I've never heard of that? All right. They just posted this yesterday in Washington Post. In the Washington Post. Ukraine's Azov Brigade races to rebuild ahead of fateful fight. Oh, here comes the offensive. The counteroffensive or whatever. The Azov Brigade, hailed by Ukrainians for its tenacity during Russia's siege of Mariupol, is scrambling to rebuild from heavy... Come on. A bunch of Nazis died. As it seeks to play a muscular role in Ukraine's next major assault. They're hoping to recruit 6,500 new fighters. Recruit. What the fuck? Who's... Like, who by now is gonna, like, be willingly recruited that hasn't already been? Like, what the fuck? Hoping to bring 6,500. Who will provide restored combat heft. Even its leaders push for the return of more than 1,000 brigade troops who remain in Russia as prisoners of war. Wow. They did release some, but they've got 1,000 Azov Nazi guys? Wow. After his release from Russian captivity in Nepal, this guy, yeah. A brigade's interim commander. We want to liberate territory. Could have been part of the Azov 100, huh? They're just going to get right back into the war. I was surprised they were doing prisoner swaps. Aren't the prisoners just going to go right back into the war? Guess so. Weird. If I was a Russian general, I'd want to keep them as prisoners of war until the conflict was over. Unless you want your prisoners back? I don't know. Makes more sense to use them as currency to get your own guys back, especially if they're taking more losses than you are. I don't know. After months of largely static front lines, the spring fighting season will be crucial. They're trying to move past the controversy surrounding Azov's far-right roots. I've changed, which has resulted in the unit being barred from receiving Western weapons. Yeah, sure. I simply don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. Newest recruits are drawn to Azov not for the ultra-nationalist ideology of its origins, but for its proven combat skill. This is the tweet. It's the Mark Hamill tweet right here. I don't care who they are. I just support Ukraine. What is this tweet? There it is. It's boiled down right there for you, the Washington Post. Libs. Fucking libs. The newest recruits are drawn. Yeah, sure. Azov both thanks the U.S. for weapons while being barred. Did they? Did I miss that bit? I'm hungry. This is weird. It's a name thanks to the defense of Mariupol. Became known to the world. No, we knew about you before then. We knew about you long before then. It was known in a certain negative way. Now it's positive. Yeah. Because what we do works. What the fuck? You defended Mariupol? What does that mean? What? The Russians hold it. Taking crazy pills over here. Mariupol? Let's check this out. Oh, yep. The Russians are occupying Mariupol. What are you saying? It works? What the fuck are you talking about? You lost, bro. You lost. They held out for weeks along with stranded citizens. Stranded citizens? They were fucking human shields. Jesus Christ. That's why they were able to hold out, because they had human shields. Oh my God, you guys. I'm simply fucking sick of this. Is this why you watch me? You like watching me do this? Would you rather I do something else? What's your deal? You fucking sickos, you watch me flip out over the Nazis? Is this your deal? What's your deal? Why are you like this? Please support my content. Otherwise, I'll go do something else. Actually, yes. Thank you. I'll tell you what. Shit's getting my blood pressure up. I need to get my subbies up instead of the blood pressure, you know? This is the thing. Need to get tips up. Thank you, Stuck and Phoned. Thank you for the 5 bomb. I need to get my hype trains up, but instead my fucking blood pressure's going up. Thank you so much for the 5 bomb, homie. I appreciate you. ×5. You got a little extra this week. Appreciate you. Yeah. Nays.
I love Venn diagrams.
Thank you for the 3 bomb. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you for supporting my content. Look at that. We got the sub goal. It does this every time with the 3 bomb. I don't know why. Obatma. What is the deal with this?
I love Venn diagrams.
What are you saying here? What is this link? Obatma. I feel like I don't want to click that link. Thank you again, nice homie. What does this say? It's a chat GPT bot? What the fuck? Do I gotta block them? It's just weird. I don't know what your deal is. You're ruining the hype train. That's not a hype train. I thought it was. Wrong link. Sorry. I don't know what your deal is, homie. Okay. Let me get back to this. I want to try to see if I could do this. I can't read any of this. It's like incredible. Everything's gaslit as fuck. Yeah, what are you trying to say? Peaceful transfer of power? Alright, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this person. Do we keep him around? I don't know, let's play. It's a bot account. They've been banned in every chat that you've been. It's a bot. Yeah, but they're a bot. Alright, play with the bot, but play nice. If we got a ban, let me know. We could do an Obama impression without a bot. We do it. We do it because it's right. Yeah. Let me be clear. I would like a Three Musketeer.
Goodbye.